All right, everyone. My name is Mary Myers. I'm the Director of Business Development at the Lake Superior Community Partnership, and I want to thank you for joining us for our webinar today, where I'll be going over the 2022 Marquette County Data Booklet. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to send those through the Q&A box, and I'll get to them at the end. Another thing to note is I'm not going to be going over the entire data booklet today. I'll just be highlighting a few key graphs, but the full data booklet will be available on our website at marquette.org. So one note, we do create this booklet on an annual basis through multiple data sources. The Michigan Bureau of Labor Market Information and Statistics Initiatives, which is the state's data source. We use an internal data source called Lightcast. And then we also have some federal data sources, such as the Census Bureau, that we use. So I'll go ahead and get started. The first graph that I'm going to go over is our unemployment rate. This is the total percentage of persons that do not have a job but have actively looked for work in the prior 4 weeks and are available for work. So in 2020, we had an abnormally high unemployment rate due to the pandemic, but we started to see normal rates over the last 2 years of around 5%. Marquette County was 1.4% higher than the national average and was 0.8% lower than the state. So our major industries, these charts show the total number of jobs in manufacturing and resource extraction in Marquette County. These two industries are our two largest contributing industries to the gross regional products in our county. So it's important for us to look at the data because their economic health can be analyzed to make predictions about the local economy as a whole. Over the last 10 years, manufacturing has shown steady growth, with the largest increase of employment coming from the fabricated metal production manufacturing. And as a whole, for manufacturing, it's expected to see an increase of 471 jobs over the next 10 years. The mining industry is also expected to see an increase over the next 10 years, and they are projected to see an increase of 836 jobs from 2022 to 2032. So the employment by industry, this graph shows the total percentage of jobs in any given industry. A quick note for this particular graph, anything that was less than 2% isn't shown, just because then we wouldn't be able to see the full chart. The numbers would be tiny, so we limit that. But this is an important graph because it shows you which industries are growing and which are suffering. So for 2022, the chart showed similar trends from the previous year. Our largest employment sectors included government, retail, healthcare, and social assistance. And then over the next 10 years, we're expected to see major growth in the retail, trade, government, and healthcare and social assistance sectors. And the data booklet has a more detailed graph in their chart that will show the specific numbers and the growth between each industry. So growth regional products is the total market value of all goods and services produced in our region over the past year. So this is a great indicator, as I mentioned earlier, of the health of our economy. An increase in our GRP is a positive indicator of growth. So to nobody's surprise, the mining sector, government and healthcare, and social assistance make up over 50% of our GRP collectively. Natural resource extraction led GRP for Marquette County for the 8th consecutive year, which is because of our iron ore mining and nickel mining. And I do want to note also that the prison is included in the local and state government sector on this one. And again, you can see a more detailed chart in the full data booklet on this. So annual trades shows the total activity of imports and exports of goods and services in the region. This chart shows it by the dollar amounts. It ties back to the GRP as a great amount. The greater amount of trade in the region generally leads to a greater GRP. So the more money that's in the economy, the more taxes being paid, which lead to the more public funding for things like our schools, roads, parks, etc. Similar to prior years, government followed the mining industry, and then manufacturing was the third for the totals in trade for 2022. So this graph shows the estimated growth of population. So for the last several years, Marquette County has been projected to see a gradual decline in population. But the Upper Peninsula is actually expected to see a gradual increase in population, going from a little over 303,000 in 2022 and projected to be over 315,000 by 2030. So the state overall is also expected to see an increase in population, going from a little under 10 million in 2022, and it's anticipated to be at 10.2 million by 2030. The employment forecast, this shows the projected growth of the number of jobs in the county. It's important for us to watch this as an increasing number of jobs in the community presents the opportunity for new residents outside of the region to move here and contribute to our local tax base. So again, more taxes means more funding for our schools and everything else. So between 2022 and 2030, Marquette County is expected to see an increase of 12% in its employment, or 3,268 jobs. The UP is also expected to see an increase of about 14% with 12,243 jobs. You can also see here the average earnings for Marquette County and the UP, and Marquette County's average earnings per job is slightly higher than the overall UP. So housing continues to remain one of the hot topics of discussion across the nation. Here you can see a summary of the real estate sales in Marquette County from 2022. The data booklet does show the comparison between 2022 and 2021 in more detail. But the average price, there was a decline in the number of residential homes sold from 2021 to 2022, but the average price increased from 218,372 to 256,342. And that's most likely due to just supply and demand of housing. We all know that the market's crazy. We saw the same number of commercial industrial sales as we did last year. The only difference was we saw a slight decrease in the average price, going from, in 2021, it was 493,705. And in 2022, the average was $381,069. Here you can see the level of education each person in the county has based on population estimates for those over the age of 25. Educational attainment in Marquette County residents is higher than the national average. 24.1% of residents possess a bachelor's degree, which is 3.3% above the national average. And then 10.8% hold an associate's degree, which is 1.9 above the national average. So as I mentioned, that was a very brief overview of the full data booklet, but you can find the 2022 data booklet on our website at marquette.org/data. So I would encourage everybody to go and read that more in detail. If there's something that isn't in the data booklet that you're looking for, our internal tool can pull a whole slew of reports. So please don't hesitate to reach out if there's something that you'd like to see that's not in there, or if you have questions even on this data booklet later on. Here is my email address if anything comes up. But thank you again for joining us this afternoon, and I hope you're having a good rest of the week.